Welcome back to another Greenside Golf Review podcast. We have Casey Torda and Derek Scott, along with myself, Cody Clifford, here tonight. But we also have a very special guest in Lindsey McPherson. So welcome, Lindsey. And let's just go ahead and kick off the pod with you telling us a little bit about yourself for the folks listening and about your golf background and your golf career.
Yeah, guys, thanks for having me. So I kind of stumbled upon golf. I'm from Michigan. So when I was in high school, the high school sports seasons switched. So golf used to be overlapping with, I think it was softball. But when I was in high school, the sports seasons switched to something else. It was overlapping. So I basically had an open season to do something else that I wanted to do. So I went home and I basically just told my dad, hey, I want to go play golf. Some of my friends are playing golf. I want to play. I've never played before, but let's do it. So I started pretty late. It was like seventh grade. And no, it was later than that. It was like high school. So I started.
Damn. That's crazy. I didn't know you started that late.
Yeah, I started super late. But I've always been a softball player, so I feel like kind of that coordination has been there a little bit, maybe swing a little bit. Then
was it your favorite sport when you started playing it, or did you like other sports more?
Softball was my favorite. I think my parents tried to get me into it when I was really young, and I hated it. I thought it was so boring. Which I feel like is a lot of kids, right? Like it's a little bit of a boring sport if you're like a 5-year-old, 6-year-old, and you don't have all your, fine motor skills, I guess. But anyways, it's way more fun to play something like basketball or softball, which is what I did. But yeah, then like I said, one of the high school sports seasons, and I just basically picked it up and I loved it. Good. And I was surpassing peers who have been playing for years. And I'm not quite sure why it happened like that all of a sudden.
Yeah, I was gonna say I picked up golf probably in like 7th, 8th grade, and it's hard. I feel like, and everybody on the PGA Tour, you see all these professionals on all these videos of them when they were like 3, 4 years old swinging fake golf clubs, and it's like you started so young. So we'll get into the level of golf that you've played, and it's amazing to me that you made it there with starting in high school. That's really impressive. I did not know that.
Yeah. Yep. It was a crazy ride, but some of it helped me out when I got to college because there were a lot of people that had been playing for a long time that sort of maybe it was a little bit of burnout. Maybe they were tired of the sport. Maybe they had just been playing it for so long that they, I don't know, maybe like had more demons, or if they're, you know how it gets when you get those demons.
Yeah, I understand that. You were fresh.
Build up a little scar tissue in golf mentally.
Right. So what did in high school, what were some of your achievements?
In high school, you guys, I don't know, was making the varsity team. And I don't know if you guys know anything about high school girls golf. It's not that hard to make a varsity team in high school. Or at least where I went to school, it wasn't hard. It was kind of just like, we need bodies.
Yeah.
Tournaments. So I'll never forget though, my senior year, I shot 80-80 at the state championship and I came in 3rd and I thought I was it.
That's awesome.
Pumped.
Yeah.
Where was it? What course was it at?
It was at Eastern Michigan's home golf course in Ypsilanti.
Well, that's pretty close to Toledo, actually.
I know the name of it, but I can't think of it right now. Something with a bird. Maybe.
Yeah, that's it's, oh my goodness, I love that place too. It's not Eagle Eye, but it's yeah, I can't think of the name of that. I don't know.
It's a great course though. it's definitely one for the review.
We're gonna have to get up there. Once it sparks and comes to your mind, we'll reach out to you and we'll have to go up there and play it.
Yeah, let's do it.
So how did your recruiting go at Michigan State?
Okay, this is a great story. My parents, I picked up, like I said, I picked up golf pretty quickly. It was the beginning of my senior year, I believe. Somebody's gonna fact check me. I feel like my coach is gonna watch this and be like, "This is not." So it was the summer before my senior year, and I went to a Michigan State golf camp. I had never met anyone from Michigan State before. Like, I thought it was so cool to be hanging out with these college girls. And coach said, "Hey, everybody get your favorite club out of the bag and just start hitting it on the range." So I was a huge meathead in high school, and I was like, "I'm going to get my driver out, and I'm going to..." I've always been quite a bit taller than a lot of my peers, so I feel like from that extra leverage, I've always been able to hit the ball a little bit farther than my peers. At least back in the day, maybe not so much anymore. So I'm crushing these drives out there, and coach stopped right behind me, and she was like, "Lindsey, do you have good grades?" And I was like, and that was like it. And she's like, "Do you want to walk onto the team?" And everything. It all happened like that.
Wow.
Nice.
Crazy.
So your whole senior year, you already had an offer from Michigan State.
Yeah, it wasn't like a sign anything type of offer, how they ready for everybody, because I was just a walk on. I say just a walk on. It was still really great to be a walk on.
Yeah, for sure.
It was a cool opportunity.
So tell us about what golf was like at Michigan State then.
Golf at Michigan State was hardcore, I have to say. We would do 2 days and, 2 days workouts, and obviously you got to get your practice in, you got to do your studies. It was an awesome culture for, you learning your time management, and athletics are super important at Michigan State women's golf, and so are academics. So our team, I think, how long ago was I in college? I started in 2010, and every year since I've been there and since I've left, the team has won the smartest team on campus, or the highest team GPA on campus. So there's a lot of pressure to get good grades, but also be a really phenomenal athlete. And, I guess you can break maybe under that pressure, or you can really excel. And honestly, almost all the girls, everyone that goes through that program just excels. So it was hard, but, in a good way.
Yeah.
So did you play right away? Did you kind of have to work your way on the team, or how did that all go?
Yeah, no, I really had to work at it, because like I said, when I was finishing up high school, I shot 80-80 at the high school state championships. And when I got to college, girls in qualifying rounds were shooting like in the 60s. Mm-hmm. And oh no, like this is,
damn.
Pick it up. So it took me like 3 solid years of playing and practicing and doing everything I possibly could in the gym and on the course, putting in extra out. Like, I can't even tell you how many wedge shots I've hit on Michigan State's wedge practice facility. Can't even tell you. But by the time I redshirted my freshman year. So it took me 5 years to get through school. And by the time I was a redshirt junior, I got to play in my first couple tournaments, and it was the best. I mean, I was so nervous, but it was the best. And then, no, go ahead.
Sorry, my connection's so bad that I don't even know when people are done talking or not. It just completely glitches out. So sorry for interrupting, but I've always been interested. What's the difference between, in high school, your practices in comparison to college? I mean, I assume to an amount that they want you to get fitted. You have your own more professional swing coach. So what was the difference in practices as far as trying to optimize your swing in comparison from high school to college?
Yeah, I would say what I worked on the most between high school and college are those very niche things that really help you get your game, to an elite level. And for me, that was all short game, almost all short game. I've always been a great ball striker. I've always been able to hit my irons well. I can always hit my driver down the fairway, but where I make or break is my short game. My coach actually made me sign a contract when I was in college that I would hit X amount of wedge shots on the range or X amount of hours of hitting wedge shots at our wedge facility a day. So it was like all very focused on your weaknesses basically. Whereas when in high school, I feel like it's okay, everybody line up, start, we're gonna hit now for 20 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Putting game with everybody.
Right.
So
I saw you had there was like a brief interview that I found online that said one of your favorite things was sinking a birdie putt and the noise that it made specifically. So did that kind of transition into more of your appreciation for like putting and all that short games? You said you put a lot of work into it. So I imagine it kind of switched from, okay, I used to hit the crap out of the ball. Now let's make some putts.
yeah, for sure. And you know what's really fun is the confidence that you gain from being a better wedge player, being a better pitcher, a better chipper, a better putter, is that there's not so much pressure put on my wedge or on my iron play. I can really free up on those 150-yard shots. Because I know if I miss the green or if, I hit it in the bunker in front, if something just goes wrong, I don't have to be worried about, flirting with a bogey because my short game is so strong now. So it really does free you up to just hit the shot instead of worrying about if you're going to hit the green or not.
Sure. So as far as ball striking goes, I'm curious. So, I mean, you've had different levels and where you've played from high school, college, and Q school. Casey claims he's never had the Shanks, which I find hard to believe. What about, did you ever go through like a rough patch where you're just like mentally during all those stressful situations, like you were grinding like to get out of that shank zone? Was there ever any like brief window where you experienced that?
I don't know that I've ever had the full on shanks, like shanking every shot, but you definitely have one or two in there, and it really messes with your head for a while.
Yeah.
Definitely. Oh my gosh, the golf demons are real. They'll come up and bite you. I can't think of a specific example right now, but it's terrifying to be in a really important round or what you think at that time is a really important round, and to have one piece of your game that's completely off, whether you can't make your 4-footers or Casey's got the shanks.
It's all between the ears.
Oh, between the ears. But it's so terrifying at that point. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. When my game gets a little weird, I get nervous and I'll start blocking my driver, and it will go like 70 yards right. But I line up for a draw too, and I'll double cross myself, and I will send it 3 fairways over.
So
So
far.
I've watched it.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's worse than the shanks. I guarantee you, because I hit it clean and it just goes so far right.
Have you ever hit the road on Sycamore number 7 before with this
No,
huge block, right?
Oh man.
no, I'm usually in the cornfield.
Out there.
I've never got to the road though. That's a big block right there. To hit the
I
road.
watched as this pod was it last week that you guys posted the one of selecting all the holes?
Yeah.
Yes.
7 would have been my top pick.
You love 7.
I play a draw off the drive. So all of that is great. But then I can't remember who picked is it 14? What's the little par 4 that's a dog leg right?
We did.
Water in front. I hate that hole.
Oh,
I struggle with it too because I can't hit a big fade.
Dude.
So I'm dead in the water if I hit it clean. Yeah.
14 is my favorite hole. I birdie that hole like 10 times a year. Big slice around the corner, works every time for me.
That nice buttery fade. So have you naturally always drawn the ball?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Varying degrees of a draw, but currently it's a baby draw.
Yeah, and the few times I've gotten to play with you, it's a nice draw. It's a good looking ball.
Easy.
So I have a question opposite to the Shanks. So I remember when we were playing around one day, you told me that I think you birdied 7 straight holes in a row in a round.
Yeah.
Is that accurate?
Yes.
So tell me, like, I want to know the state of mind that you were in. Like when you hit that first birdie, that second birdie, the third birdie, now you're feeling it 4 or 5. Like, how did you just keep going? Help me get to that point to where I can just reel them off. Tell me about your state of mind.
Yeah, it was an interesting combination of events. I think I parred like the first 6 holes, and then I just got on this birdie run. There were a couple of par 5s in there, and I already said I do hit it a little bit, I think, further than my peers, or at least I used to. So a couple of those holes I hit the green and two putted. So those are a couple of easier birdies that I feel like you can just slip in there and really not feel like you did anything crazy.
Yeah.
And then I said, I think of myself as a good ball striker. So I was just hitting the ball so close to the hole. My dad has been my caddy for a lot of my career.
Oh, that's cool.
And whenever I am struggling, I'm like, Dad, we can't get any birdies. He's like, well, you got to hit it closer. Oh, right.
The tough love.
Yeah. So that day, I was just hitting them all right in there. You're just on fire.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was an incredible experience, and it was one of those things that, since you're hitting them close, since I hit a couple of par 5s in 2, it didn't really at the time, like in the moment, feel like I was doing anything crazy. It just kind of felt like making a couple putts here and there. I'm hitting the ball well. Stuff like that. And so then I wasn't really thinking about it. And it must have been for like 3 or 4 holes. I forgot to keep track of my score. I just wasn't looking at my scorebook. I wasn't tracking it for a little while. And I took it out and I was like, holy shit, I made 7 birdies in a row. And then I proceeded to finish my last however many holes 3 over.
Oh no.
That's all between the ears.
I know yeah. those mental games. Yeah, but no, that was so sweet.
Yeah, I would say go ahead, Derek.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, like, so your dad, like, throughout your whole career has been your caddy?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, so he helped me out just with general stuff. I went to a swing coach for everything for my swing, but he's always out in the bag. Like, we qualified for the USAM together in 2012, I think, and then before I decided to turn pro, I got invited to play in the Meyer LPGA Classic in Grand Rapids as an amateur. So he caddied for me there. And not without our spats and fights and whatnot, but we did get along really well. We worked together really well. And then when I decided to turn pro, it was the two of us. He retired the same year that I turned pro, and we traveled the country together.
That has to be so cool.
It was the coolest.
Yeah, I mean, I know personally, and if my dad listens to this, he's going to be very upset. That would be a nightmare for my dad and I. I remember going back into high school, because he's the one that kind of somewhat got me into golf. He would go out with me. He was very supportive about all that. But we like to poke and prod at each other. And I remember he just bought this brand new R7 at the time. Loved it. It was his favorite club in the bag, right? So we go out to Eagles Landing. We get on, what would it be? It would have been hole 18 at the time. Completely slices one. And I was upset because he's my kryptonite. I play terrible every time I play with him. So I was mad. And I looked at him and I said, aren't you glad you got that brand new driver? And he snapped it right then and there. And I can't imagine having that combo as a caddy. Playing with my dad. Because that would have been a nightmare.
Oh my gosh. No, we certainly had our fights, but once we got,
It worked for you.
yeah.
So how did the process go of after college and like going on tour and stuff like that?
Yeah, so it's changed, I think, within the past couple of years. But when I came out, I went straight into Q school. So I finished school, it would have been in 2015. So I went to Q school in 2016. So I basically practiced for a year or a half a year. Because I wasn't, by the time I finished at Michigan State, I wasn't done quick enough to head to Q school right away. So I let myself practice for a year and then went to Q school. And from going to Q school, you can gain access into the Symetra Tour. Or, you know, if you're good enough, you can make it all the way through. You can gain access to the LPGA Tour from Q school. So that's kind of how I did it. I played on the mini tours. So even the step below the Symetra Tour, just to keep myself sharp. And then once I got my Symetra Tour card, my full Symetra Tour card, that was when I made it through first stage into second stage of Q school. And that got me my tour card on the Symetra Tour, which I don't know if any of you guys have heard about Q school. The first stage of Q school is like a battle zone. Oh my gosh.
Is it really?
It is. So it's in Palm Desert, California, emphasis on desert.
Derek's love it there.
Mission Hills Country Club. They host stage 1 of Q school at the beginning of August, aka the hottest time in the year that they could possibly host it. And there's 400 girls playing for like 120 spots to make it into stage 2 of Q school. And it is not cheap to enter Q school. And I think it's probably good that it's that way, because then not just everybody can sign up. Like, you really have to be serious about it. But
Yeah,
it's it's a big expense to head out there. So then you get out there and it's 115 degrees and you're fighting for range spots with 400 girls, 3 different courses, and it's just a grind.
Jeez.
yeah, that sounds tough.
It was crazy.
How'd you do when you were out there?
So the first year I failed miserably. I remember that I felt like my brain was boiling on the first day because it was A, so hot outside, and B, so much pressure on you. It's like, I gotta prove to everybody that I can do this, and I gotta prove to myself that I can do this and make it through this stage. So I think I played well the first day. And then the second day, I think I shot something astronomical. I think I shot like 85. Like, it was very bad. Anyways, you can't win the tournament on the second day, but you can definitely lose it. So I lost.
Was it a 4-day tournament?
Yeah. So there's 3 courses, and you play each one, 3 times, and then they have a cut, and then the remaining people play out for the last remaining spots on the.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So I saw.
But after that, the stage is a little bit more normal tournament-like, I would say. But yeah, then the second year I went to Q school, I made it to stage 2. Played well enough in stage 2 to get some good Symetra Tour status, to where I was able to play every week in Symetra Tour.
Nice.
Is the Symetra Tour one level below the LPGA Tour?
Yep.
Okay.
It feeds into the LPGA Tour.
Gotcha.
You place in the top 10. I mean, it's one of the ways that you can get to the LPGA Tour. So if you place in the top 10 on the money list on the Symetra Tour, that year you get your card to the LPGA Tour for the next year.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So at what point, like, so say moving backwards a little bit, there was like a couple little like quotes and stuff, or like they have you ask you questions at like Michigan State. So it mentioned in there that basically your mindset was always going into business. So like at what point was it like, hey, maybe I can do this? Like maybe I'm just gonna go try to be on tour, and was that like always the end goal?
Yeah, when I first started at Michigan State, it definitely wasn't. I think for my first probably 4 years there, I was like, no way, I'm not doing this. I'm gonna take my degree and, go find a great job. But like I said, I was granted a sponsors exemption into the Meyer LPGA Classic as it would have been the summer before my senior year. So I played in that, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I might be able to keep up with these girls. And I didn't make the cut. And I had one, I think, pretty solid day, but the other day I kind of blew up. I got a little too excited with that line. But I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I'm not that far off of, the best golfers in the world. So that really kickstarted a new dream, I guess. I guess before I had played right alongside them, I was sort of thinking that they were leaps and bounds ahead of me. But after playing with them, I was like, I can hang with these girls. So decided to give it a shot.
Wow, that had to have been an awesome just like feeling to be able to feel and sense that like, wow, I could actually play with the best players in the world. Whew, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, it was nuts. So I got to play in that tournament twice. So I played in it once as an amateur and once as a professional. And it was amazing. It was each time I was like, man, I'm so close. I'm so close. But that's the beauty of golf, isn't it? Like you're always so close. But
Yeah. Were those, I think you mentioned, were those the two events that you played on the LPGA tour?
Yep.
You played
Yep.
it twice? Okay.
I've also almost qualified for the US Open a couple of times. I was first alternate one time when they played the year they played at Pinehurst. I was the first alternate for my section or my qualifying location. So
Gotcha.
really hoping somebody was going to back out.
Oh man, that would have been a wild experience to be able to play in the U.S. Open.
Yeah, there were some nerves coming down the stretch there.
I bet.
Because you were leading at one point during that, right? Coming down the home stretch, like gearing towards the end.
I would have been leading my qualifying location.
Yeah.
But I didn't do very well at my last couple holes. I was so nervous.
Oh,
Those nerves.
I can't even imagine. I get nervous doing that in a normal round. I can't even imagine. Wouldn't have been enough sleeves in my bag.
Yep.
At all. There just wouldn't have. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. That's crazy.
Crazy.
So how does it feel like? So obviously, you're not a professional golfer anymore. So like right after that, how did that feel to go back to playing like recreational or playing with people that are like extremely high handicaps? Like, was it like very awkward or?
No, I think honestly for me, playing golf for the love of the game and just for fun now is my favorite. And I think a lot of times people want to say, "Oh, but I'm terrible. You won't want to play with me." But really, I mean, everybody's so focused on their own game. I'm honestly really probably not paying that much attention to how many times you hit the ball, right? Like everybody else, you don't care what anybody else is doing. You're really just more focused on what you're doing.
yeah. I mean, when you're playing a game, you're so wrapped up in the focus of a shot that it's hard to keep track of everything going on around you. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, imagine that. I mean, to some extent, like every time you go out, you have to have that good feeling, like that heartwarming feeling, like every time you step onto the course, like it has to draw back so many memories.
Yeah, it does. And it's interesting now just playing for fun how much more free you can be playing the game. I feel like maybe professionals as well, they can free themselves, they can free their mind from what this round's going to mean for them, or all that. But to not have anything really riding on the round that I'm playing, rather than, except for like $5 with my friends, to not have to worry about like trying to play for this big purse, or I have to make money because I have to make it to the next tournament. Like, I'm playing for my entry fee for the next tournament right now. Taking all that out of it and just being able to play golf is so much fun now.
That's awesome. Back to the Symetra Tour. I want to know what was your favorite course that you played on while playing on the Symetra Tour?
Gosh, my favorite course. So there's a lot of good ones. There's a lot of great courses. But one of my favorites was in Georgia. We played Atlanta Country Club. And as you're like, if you go look it up online, I don't know if you'll see like the entrance to the club, but it's all super manicured, and you come down the road to the clubhouse, and it's like this big picturesque long driveway with trees on either side, and then like opens up to this great big clubhouse. And as you're driving down like towards the clubhouse, there's these great big huge houses on either side. I'm like, does P. Diddy live here? Like, who lives in this neighborhood? Like, these houses are huge. But it was really cool because you're playing Atlanta Country Club, but you're not in this. I guess you're in the city. It feels like you're not in the city. It feels like they have like these great big trees, and it's very wooded, and each hole sort of feels like its own hole. You can't, a couple holes you can see other holes, but a lot of times it really feels super secluded out there. And it doesn't hurt that I played well. I think it was my first top 10 placement on
yeah. Connect the memories there with your good performance. Well,
yeah.
It kind of sounded like you were describing Augusta National, to be honest with you, when you were talking about driving down the lane with the trees and this big picturesque setting. So they're probably not that far away from each other.
Yeah, you know what? I've never been to Augusta. It's a pipe dream.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Maybe one year.
Casey, you've been there, right?
Yeah, I saw a practice round. I believe the year Bubba won the first time. I was like a sophomore in high school, I believe. It was just a practice round, but it was amazing. It kind of reminds me of the Grand Canyon. I don't know if you've been to the Grand Canyon, but when you go there, it doesn't look real. Like when you're there and you're looking down. And Augusta doesn't look real when you're there either. Like every piece of grass is just perfect. And like, yeah, it was just a great experience. The sandwiches were like $1 each. Like you get like a can of pop for like $1 too. It was so much fun.
Yeah. Bucket list item to go there for sure.
Oh yeah.
So I remember the first time we played Lindsey. You took like $45 off of Cody and I each.
Yeah, you and Yuvi did.
Yeah,
I don't remember this. Where did we play?
Red Hawk.
It was at Red Hawk in the 2-man scramble.
You're so right. Okay, I remember this now.
Yes, and Cody and I got down early, and our strategy was to press our way out. Just keep doubling down on bets, and it did not work. It backfired. We lost, I think, every single bet, and it was bad, like $45 or something like that.
Yeah, you guys, I backed against you guys on that one because I quit playing professionally at the end of 2017, and I was playing against you guys the beginning of 2018.
Yep.
So I was still.
We were trying to go up against a professional golfer, basically.
And it was bad. Yeah, it was over pretty early, I remember.
You let pride get in the way. That's
That was
awesome.
fun.
That's awesome.
R.I.P.
So
Yes.
I
yes.
was told that allegedly you had completely destroyed a women's golf league at Thunderbird. You had just kicked these poor women's butts.
You shot
That's
like
what
40
Casey
or
was telling me.
something, right?
Well, it's not my intention. It's never my intention. So here's how I approach like any type of league that I'm playing in. Everybody's always like, "Oh, what tees do you want to play from?" And truthfully, for me, it's more of just being out there with other people and just playing. And if I play a different set of tees than everyone else, I'm basically isolating myself.
Yeah, it's
So
uncomfortable. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. It's uncomfortable playing from a different spot because then they're waiting on me to hit, and then I'm waiting on them to hit, and then I gotta catch up, and it's just an odd dynamic. And I'm gonna generalize here. I would say most ladies like to play from the red tees or the forward tees. I'll play from wherever, but since I want to play with them, I'll also play from the red tees or forward tees or wherever everybody else is playing from. And yeah, when you have that short of a course, I just ate it up. I think I almost shot 9 one time. It was awesome. And so everybody's like, "Do you
awesome to hear.
want to play with us?" And I'm like, "I really not here to like make everybody else look bad. I just want to play and chat with you guys."
Was that at the south or the north that like you guys would usually play? Or did you guys switch between both of them?
Yeah, we switch between all four, and it's only 9 holes because it's after work. It's kind of tough to get in a full 18, but
Sure.
yeah, we switch all 4 9s.
Which one do you like better? Just curious.
Oh, that's a good question. They're very similarly matched, in my opinion. I think they both have an easier 9 and a way more tough 9, in my opinion. If I had to pick, I'd probably say the North Course. But it's tough. They're both so beautiful, and I feel like they're very well taken care of.
Yeah, they do a good job. They really do. I've always enjoyed that course. I mean, it's a great play. You guys have not played there yet?
I've never been.
No, I haven't either.
Yeah, we definitely need to go because it's not that far of a drive. It's not too bad.
No.
Mm-mm.
So
I still
when
am
did you
racking my
decide
brain.
to stop playing golf, Lindsey?
I decided to stop playing golf. So it was 2017. I got my 3rd invite to play in the Meyer LPGA Classic because once I played when I was an amateur, I made some friends with some of the Meyer staff members, Meyer folks. They were really nice. They became my corporate sponsor. So then I was going to start playing in that event every year for them, as long as they would have me. And that wedding, or that I'm going to say wedding, that tournament fell on the same day that I was supposed to be in my best friend's wedding. And so leading up to this, I have been missing everything. I've been missing out on everything because instead of, being home with your family on Saturday and Sunday, you're across the country in Timbuktu playing for your livelihood, right? So leading up to this, I've missed all this stuff. I'm all prepared to be in my best friend's wedding, and the dates of the tournament come out, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't. What am I supposed to do here? Like I can't play. Like I can't keep missing everything. So that was number 1. I ended up bowing out of my 3rd LPGA event, and then at the end of that summer, I won the Michigan Open championship. So the women's Michigan PGA Open Championship. And to preface this, I had never won a professional tournament before. I'd won a couple, maybe like smaller ones, but the Michigan Open is a really big tournament. There's a lot of great talent. in town in the city because that's where all of the tours are rolling through in the summer. So it's not just Michigan residents that play in it. It's really anybody. It's an open, anybody that wants to come play. So that was a huge event and a huge deal for me to win. And I held the trophy up and it was great. And I was so excited. And after I had my beer at the country club after I was done, I was just like sitting there and I was by myself. Everybody had left, like everybody was gone, and I had to head right to my next tournament. And I was like I just did this. I have to go do it again? Like it wasn't like, oh my gosh, this is the greatest thing ever. I need to go do it again. I remember being like, oh, this is what I've been working towards this whole time. Like I gotta go do it again. So that pretty much solidified it for me. I was kind of like, okay, well, if this is how I feel about winning a golf tournament, maybe it's time to hang it up.
It's got to be tough to come to that realization because I can't even imagine. I mean, naturally, I'm very competitive, but to have to do that for multiple rounds on a weekly basis, I can't even imagine like having to be able to stay in the zone for that long. I mean, it's just week after week after week after week. And if you're not there, you're practicing and basically you're just trying to better yourself 7 days a week. And I can't even imagine what that would be like to try to stay locked in for that long. So, I mean, it kind of sounds like ultimately, you know, it definitely was a good realization because that I can't imagine how stressful that lifestyle is.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it's tough to be at your best every single week and sort of not be in your regular routine every week because every course is different. Every host family that you stay with is different. Every hotel that you stay at is different. All those factors mean that every week is not the same. So you really can't, I mean, everybody gets into their routine as well as they can, but it's not like practicing at home and playing at your home course. It's like every week is a new stimulus, basically. And you got to roll with it.
Yeah, I mean, even simply like just not sleeping in the same bed, you know, week in, week out is enough to kind of be stressful.
Yeah. So there's a lot of, you know, awesome golfers out there who love that life, love the travel life, but I couldn't anymore. I got to be home on the weekends, hanging out with my people. So that was the realization that I came to, but.
Gotcha.
That's nice.
Yeah, that's like backpack. Like you're like basically living out of a backpack or a suitcase and going to do that every single week. I mean, was it, I would imagine that everyone had to have been pretty supportive of you, right? Like during this whole process, like at least your friends were understanding that maybe you were going to miss some things. I mean, was everyone pretty much on that same consensus?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was all like Team Lindsey all the time, which is so great. Gosh, I wouldn't have made it the 3 or 4 years that I played if I didn't have their support. I can't imagine not having my parents' support and my friends' support. But yeah, it's still challenging, even if you have that whole support system behind you.
Yeah, challenging, and even so, it seems like I'm sure you built like just awesome experiences though, in being able to travel around the United States and play all these golf courses. Like, I bet it was amazing, but again, like you got to a point where wow, like I can't do this for my career, which I understand that.
Yeah, I'd do it all over again. It was a blast.
Yeah.
But it was time to hang it up and just play
Yep.
for fun.
And that brought us. That's how we met you. 6 months after you decided to hang it up, you kicked our asses on the golf course. So.
That's right.
Yeah, we appreciate you sharing this experience. I mean, that's awesome to hear. Obviously, you know, it's not every day we get to talk to people who've lived that lifestyle and have made it as far as you've made it. So, I mean, we definitely appreciate you coming on and sharing that with all of us for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks, guys. A little trip down memory lane today.
Yes.
It was
I do
fun.
have one last question.
Okay.
Has Hubie ever beat you?
Oh no, I'm gonna get fact checked on this. Does he watch the pod?
I'm not sure. We'll have to ask him.
Yeah, we'll have to ask him. He'll probably watch this one, so choose your answer wisely.
Oh my gosh. I think maybe once, but I want to say no. But what if? I don't know. You guys need to have him on the pod next.
Yes, we do. We'll have to have him on to talk about Vermilion Country Club. Derek loves that place. Derek
Love that.
absolutely loves it.
A whole episode on the Vermilion Country Club, the 12-hole wonder.
Mhm.
Yes.
It is. It stole my heart.
It has a way of doing that.
It does.
12
It
holes
does.
is the perfect thing between start to when you need a hot dog or a beer.
100%.
It is. It's a perfect amount of golf, really.
Yep. So actually, this is a good topic to bring up. I think that maybe the only time Hubie has beaten me is at the Vermilion Country Club, and I think that's just home course advantage.
Yeah, I don't think we should count that.
A big asterisk next to it.
Yes.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Lindsay. We appreciate it. It was nice talking to you.
Perfect. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. Love the pod. Keep it rolling.
Thank you for your support, and again, from all of us, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
All right.
Talk to you guys later.
See ya.
See you guys.